Welcome, everyone, to the Bristol Energy Committee, April 20th. We've got a pretty full agenda, and I think this is also our last opportunity to be with Patrick. Is that true?
He's lost in the new car.
Yeah, I think 1 month from now, on May 20th, I'll be walking across the stage.
Oh,
Okay, great. We still have
congratulations.
some more time.
Yeah, no, we still have some more time to, put a bow on anything. But I guess the next official meeting, I could come to the next official meeting. I don't have to stop coming to the meetings as soon as I graduate. That's, whatever.
Great.
But yeah, I think I eventually have to kind of bring this to a conclusion a little bit. And I was telling Sally that if you guys like the student involvement and stuff like that, it's absolutely possible to kind of continue this. And I talked to Meg, Sally, Meg.
Yeah.
And so if you want to just make it clear to her that having a student intern around is something you guys want in the future, I don't think it'll be a problem to kind of keep it going.
Great.
That'd
Excellent.
be terrific.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
really been a great bit of new energy.
Well, I'm glad. Just sometimes I feel a little guilty because I feel like I haven't done enough or whatever. But I think a lot of my peers that are also in this program, they're I think they're surprised at the stuff that like we have done. The fact that I have gone out and gotten involved a little bit. I think the program itself can be a little bit challenging because people don't necessarily respond, or everybody's kind of here on their own time. You guys have so much energy, and I'm like so amazed that you guys put all this effort into the Bristol Energy Committee, on your own time. And I think that that's really special. And I don't think a lot of towns share that. So I feel lucky.
Well, it's great.
We've been lucky to have you, Patrick. What's
Thank
next?
you.
What's next for you?
Actually, just started a engineering job about 2 weeks ago, doing some online work at first, and I'm gonna carry that into the summer, and it's going well actually. It's kind of along the same lines as the whole EV thing too, so it's cool.
Well,
Yeah,
Great.
are you going to stay in Vermont, or will you be heading out?
I think like I said, I'm gonna move out of here and live at home for the summer and work the engineering job, and we'll see what kind of happens from there. They might offer me like a more of a full-time thing. Right now it's kind of just like a beginner job. But they might offer me something a little more serious at the end of the summer. So
Great.
yeah, feeling good.
Well, should we, let's see, Matt's not here for a library thing, but that's okay. It's so brief. I'll just let you know what happened yesterday at the library meeting with the board. Basically, Matt told the board just what is on his summary that we've seen, and kind of explained it all. And they are going to think about it, and they're excited about it, but they have to make decisions. And the librarian was not there. She's away this week. What they have to do is get some contractors in to give some quotes. I called two, and one of them has done a little something, but the other hasn't called back since that. So they're gonna have to follow up and pull together some numbers and decide which direction they want to go with a few different options. So that's kind of where it is right now. It's kind of in a, move to the next group to think about it. So that's about all for that. I think at some point, the library will have to put some kind of proposal together, and I don't know how much the Energy Committee would be helping with that, but I think it's the library and maybe Matt would be working on that to make it, you know, kind of professional, whatever it has to be. And then bring it to the ARPA group and give that proposal to them to look at and just put it in the whole pile of things to, you know, discuss for funding. Any questions or anything?
Sounds good.
All right.
Where to stay on top of them a little bit.
Yeah, yeah, I'll have to do that.
Um,
Or hopefully they'll do that, because I think it's really, it needs to come from the library at this point.
Yeah.
Well, let's go for EV charging and see where we're at right now. And how we can move forward with this around getting ARPA funds. Anyone want to jump in with chatting about it?
We've got one bid, do we, from Norwich Energy? One
Yeah.
full bid.
Yeah.
I tried to get one from Glenn Beck, and I talked to them at length. They don't do it, but they were very interested, and it sounded like they might put one together, but they didn't.
Yeah.
So we have one bid at this point.
Yeah. Same kind of thing happened with Bristol Electronics for me. They're just too busy, but and they did put a bid in last year or the year before for that spot. So I think we should pull that out, and I have not done that. I think I probably said I was going to do that last meeting, and I haven't done that. I don't even know how to pull it out of where. I don't really know where their quote would be.
I wonder if Ian,
sorry.
I wonder if Ian has it.
I think Ian had it, and actually, I have a feeling he handed it over to me, and I don't know if that was a paper or that was something on the computer, but I think I'm probably the one who has it somewhere, and I don't know where that is.
Of course, it wouldn't be current, and if they haven't responded, it's kind of a moot point.
Yeah, right, right, because that means they're not interested right now. Yeah. Okay, so here's the idea with one quote, which is I like that it's what did you call that? Where it's all together, everything's in one.
Turnkey.
Turnkey, that's it.
Yeah.
That's really handy to have it all taken care of in one, one bid. So we could still look toward bringing it to the ARPA group and seeing what they think, and also going to the select board and just seeing where they're at with that,
Yeah, I think we ought to go to the select board and ask to have a few minutes to put it up on the screen and advise them that this is what it looks like right now, and get their input about maybe some options to finance it, including ARPA.
Yeah.
But also our notion of a GoFundMe page.
Was there any update on how that would work? We were talking about the bank accounts, and
I didn't go to Middlebury Bank yet until this meeting. If that would make sense, I could do that.
Probably good to get confirmation about that first, maybe
Yeah.
with I forgot the name of the treasurer, Sally, that we talked with.
Yeah.
Maybe check back in with them about whether or not that's a solid plan, before Richard goes and makes another account.
Right.
Yeah, I wouldn't make the account. I'd get some information, whether they're familiar with it and willing to do it. But and that would be part of our discussion with the select board, whether we would go that route.
Yeah.
There's also going to be money coming from through the legislature fairly soon, and it may be wise to wait for that as well. I don't know.
Well, I believe Sally, we were also talking about just it might be a good idea that the Bristol Energy Committee have its own bank account. No. I don't know. That's just something that came up, and I'm not sure what the response was there.
Yeah, I think it's true that none of the town groups has their energy. I don't really know. I don't know what the whole thing is, but Jim's been around, so I think his shaking his head is probably more on target than what, tell us, Jim, why.
Everything has to go through the select board. There are no
Yeah.
special accounts allowed by law.
Okay.
Everything has to go through the treasurer's office and Valerie and the select board. So
Yeah, that makes sense.
what is the program you're talking about with the GoFundMe again? What was that?
The EV charging, the $10,000 for that.
Well, I think we should just go to the select board at this point and say where we're at and get advice and find out what they think about getting one. Because, it's part of, it's part of, the whole energy plan and everything. So they'll just advise us on how to go about that. And yeah.
Well, I would also say, I don't know how it usually works with presenting to the select board, but maybe, use Norwich and their presentation skills and, their little formats. And, they sent us that nice document with photos and stuff. I maybe even reach out back to them and say, can you put together a couple of slides or something? I don't know. Or just use the document they made.
That's a really good idea, Patrick. If they might even be willing to come on and give a short piece on it, answer questions, and then we would say to the select board, how would you like us to proceed? We see a couple of options.
They might be a little more convincing too, just with their knowledge and whatnot.
Absolutely. They really know what's going on.
Right.
If you want, I'll contact them, since I made kind of the original contact on that.
That sounds good. I'm wondering, Ben, do you feel, as a kind of an electrical guy, do you feel like that is the best way to go? Is someone who's given the bid to explain their bid and stuff like that? Or
I mean, I think it can come across one of two ways, right? You can either bring them in as a subject matter expert and say, irrespective of whether they do the work or not, they did give us a bid and they're here to answer questions about where it would go, what it would look like, what's the schedule, how long would it take to do, and all that sort of thing. And they may be able to answer a few questions about, well, probably not funding issues, but I think we could bring them in as a subject matter expert. But if we bring them in as they gave us a bid, what do you guys think of their bid? Kind of like how the select board with the engineer that they just hired at the last select board, or maybe it was 2 select board meetings ago, I can't remember. If we bring it to them as here's the bid, here's the contractor, you want to do it? I think that it's we may want to talk it through with them a little bit more from a technical perspective. So I think as long as we communicate that properly to Norwich, and they're still willing to come on as subject matter experts, I think there's benefit in that for sure. I mean, like anything else, I think with this, the big issue, the big question is, we all kind of can all look at each other and say, yeah, this is a good idea. We want to do it, but where do we get the funding from? So, but yeah, I think from a technical perspective, it could be useful to have them there for sure.
Okay. And a subject member expert is good phraseology. So good.
subject matter. Subject
matter expert. Yeah.
I'm taking notes. So
I'm writing notes down too. Yeah.
Great.
And one other thing too, from a funding perspective, just because this jogged my memory, just this conversation, I recall we had talked about, maybe it was 2 meetings ago, about potentially tapping into the I think the community solar, like the town is getting paid for the community solar project, right? The lease on the landfill, is that right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and I don't know if that's like, earmarked for something else or something, but I know we had maybe mentioned it in passing. I don't know if it's worth kind of having that in our back pocket as a topic or as a potential option. I don't know.
I've been thinking about that, and I was kind of going in that direction at first, and now I'm starting to think that what we do need to have is simply a conversation about the fact that the enhanced energy plan and the town energy plan is about doing different things, and there needs to be money set aside for that, and that's something
Right.
that the select board needs to deal with in some way to make sure things can happen, to move the things on our plan forward. We're doing the legwork, but there needs to be money, and they have to figure that
Right.
out. And we can't really tell them, oh, you should take it from here just, because the energy committee has done this and it's saving you a lot of money. I'd love to say that, but it's up to them to decide where the money comes from. But we do need to ask them. We can't do our work if things can't happen.
I think
So,
without a little bit of select board push behind us or wind at our sails, so to speak, the energy plan is a document. It's like a goal, but it's just a piece of paper. We have to there's got to be some momentum behind it. Maybe we'll say, which
maybe
makes sense.
Maybe we should push for a budget. I mean, the Conservation Commission has over, I think, $60,000 now. So every year, $10,000 is added to their fund.
yeah, that's the kind of thing. We just need to have some way to go forth with things. So I think this is a good conversation to have with the select board, and maybe this is two different items that I can
Yeah,
talk
it
to
is.
Valerie about.
Yeah. I'll do this as a parenthetical that we need to discuss a budget allocation to facilitate energy plan work.
That's great. Thank you.
Okay.
That's all right. So if we met with the select board, I'll have to talk to Valerie and find out when we can meet about the EV charging, and then get a date, and then let us all know.
Okay.
Yeah, and I definitely say the Norwich subject matter experts would probably be good to have there.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Maybe I'll talk to them, and Sally, if you get a date, then I'll let them know, see if they can have somebody available.
Great. All right. And is there any need to have GMP there, or just Norwich? Because they're the kind of the ones that are doing it.
I think just Norwich at this
Okay.
point.
That's
Yeah.
great. Okay.
Keep it simple.
All right. Anything else on EV, or should we go forth? Looks like go ahead. The next on the agenda is window dressers, the window inserts project that we've done a couple of times in Bristol. It was a big job. It was took a lot of time and energy, and also was probably the most satisfying work we've done in a way, because it was so community building and all that, and people really appreciated being a part of it and getting to cozy up their homes with window inserts. So we have another chance now to do it again. This year, we wouldn't have to host it. It would happen at Middlebury. And indeed, we are able to be a part of that. Maggie confirmed that to me. Maggie's the one who coordinated our last one, and she was very good at coordinating.
Sure was.
Yeah, she put a lot of energy into it, and she knows what she's doing. And so she is willing to help tutor the Middlebury people who will be new doing it, but help them figure out how to create the whole program in Middlebury, which is great. I feel good that she's doing that. And we, as Bristol people, if we decide to be a part of it, we would need to do lots of things, outreach, So getting people to learn about it and to sign up to have window inserts and to be a part of building them and that kind of thing.
This would
And as-
include Bristol residents. They'd be able to participate
Yep.
as well.
Bristol residents and New Haven residents are within the range of people who can do this at the Middlebury build.
Great.
And so, yeah, and then we'll have to just get a little coordinating team with our group, the Energy Committee, and, new people will learn how to do it, and people who have already done it, that'll be helpful that we have some experience. So as far as who's here, I mean, we don't really have a quorum to date. Do we? Or is there someone who's not showing? Oh yeah, we have someone else, right? No, we don't.
I think it's just the
Okay.
three of us.
Yeah, 3. Yeah. Yeah, we should have seen if Patrick counts as a as a person to vote on these, but I guess- anyway. Okay, so with the 3 of us who are here, who's in? I'm in.
Yeah.
Okay, great. And so if we can get, Mike and Steve and whoever else, Carl, to get involved, I think we'll have a good crew. And I think we'll be able to find other people in the community who have done it before, who are interested in participating in some way.
This is a new one for me. As you guys know, I'm the newest member of the committee, so it's still not. I'll be honest. I'm a visual person, and it's not even entirely clear to me what exactly these things look like and what they're.
Yeah.
I know what they're for, but so this is
Yeah.
going to be a learning thing. I don't know how helpful I'll be the first few times, frankly, but willing to
But
try.
you get sucked in right away. You're given a station and some instruction, and
away you
you're
go.
up and running. Yeah,
All
yeah.
right,
Don't
fair
worry
enough.
about that. You'll figure it out real fast.
Yeah.
Yep.
And there's a lot that happens before the workshop. The workshop is
Right.
like the final part of it. The
Right.
beginning is earlier and,
Measuring and that
yeah,
kind of-
measuring at people's
Yeah.
houses and
Yeah.
there's training. There are trainings that we'll probably go to again and stuff like that. So it'll be good. Great. All right, I think that's enough for now. We just know we're in. So the first item is a fall electric vehicle event with GMP and Drive Electric. We did this last year. Richard and I mainly were working on it and went really well.
Yeah.
There's no reason not to do it.
Yeah, I think we just need the board, the committee to say go ahead, and we'll start making arrangements.
Yeah. I think that we don't have the whole committee here, but I think that who's here is willing to work on it. And, I can't imagine the rest of the committee is not wanting us to do it.
I think we did more for the first one than we needed to do. Remember, we put up a tent and a table and stuff, and Green Mountain Power came with everything.
Yeah.
Cars, everything. So
Yeah.
it's really a pretty easy event.
Yeah, the main thing is reaching out to people in our community who have electric cars and would be willing to bring those to show them and talk to people about them, and take people for a ride if they want to go for a ride, or let them drive it if the owner feels comfortable with that. And then the other is we need to get Drive Electric, see if they're able to make it. We need to find a date. That's a big thing. So I guess we need to do some kind of an email with Drive Electric, GMP, and us.
Yeah.
And if we can get at least 2 of us who are on that email, 2 or 3 of us, so that we can all agree to a time, then that'll work. So
Was
think we-
was last year's like in the summer, in the spring?
it was in the fall, October 16th, it ended up being.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
that worked out well.
I think we should do, well, that's the next item agenda. Never mind. So I guess I've started emailing with GMP, except that I can't remember her name, and most of my emails were erased. So
So we
I'll
can
get-
get it, we can get it from Freeman Corey.
okay, it's Jen something. I'll see if I can find that.
Yeah.
And it's not Cortez. It's a different name, unless Jen Cortez got married, and she's just got a new name now.
Possible.
I think it's the same person. I think it is the same person. I just think her name changed because she was saying, "Hey, we'll do it again like last year." So I'll be able to contact her. That's great.
Okay, so you'll contact her?
Yep. And I'll wrap you guys into an email about making a date for that.
Okay.
As far as finding people who have EVs in the community, would that be something we could use Front Porch Forum for once we have a date?
Sure.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. And that's a great way to let people know that's going to
And
be
know that it's happening, right?
Yeah.
Right.
I think we did that last year, and that worked well. People wrote back and said, "Yeah, I'd like to bring my car down. It'd be great." And we were talking about having bikes there too. That could,
So does
And we'll-
does the bicycle shop in up toward Rockydale, do they have electric bikes?
I don't know if Cool Motion Sports has them or not.
You know, the motorcycle place on Route 7 they have electric motorcycles. They're a dealer for one of the really premier ones.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah, that's interesting.
They're pretty
Yeah.
up on them. So there was an
Yeah,
article in Green Mountain Times about it, and I'd be willing to stop by and talk to them.
yeah, I think that's a good idea.
It's a great idea.
At first, I thought it was going to be really loud, and then I'm like, no, this is electric. It's not going to be loud.
It's just a
That's
nice
awesome.
little hum. That's
Yeah,
all.
perfect. I
It's
think
here,
that'd
it's here, and then it's gone.
I think that's great. You're gonna do that, Richard? Did you say
Yeah,
so?
yeah.
Thank you.
Maybe they'll let me ride one.
Yeah.
I don't have a license.
Oh, yeah. All right, well, while we're on the electric subject, let's move to the next item, which is the spring have an electric mower tool, equipment, and bike event at the Human Powered Parade. I just spoke with Meredith at Bristol Rec Department, and she said she thinks that would be the ideal place for us to do a lot of outreach with people on those things, because so many people come to that Human Powered Parade, and it's a really fun event, lots of families, and usually people arrive between 9 and 10, and we could have a tent there as well as some space on the lawn to spread out lawnmowers, and that would be owners who have lawnmowers, they want to bring them and just show, hey, here's what I've got, I like it, and that kind of thing. That could either happen in the morning, or we could just have the table and talk about some things with a few mowers or something. And then there's the whole, people are milling around. There are lots of tables, so people are learning about different things through these different tables. And then there's usually a great skate park show that everyone watches. And then everyone gets on their bike and they're all costumed and everything, and they ride off and do this ride around Bristol. They're not going to go too far this time, I don't think. And then when they come back, there's usually music, food, that kind of thing. And that's when we could actually have more people show up with electric things. bikes, mowers, that kind of thing, and have more of a demo Q&A and all that if we want to. But that's real soon. That's May 14th.
May 14th. Yeah. Wow.
So it could be, I suppose, as big or small as we want. You know, we could have it be kind of like the Harvest Fest where we just have a table or a tent and a few things, or we could invite more people and make it a bigger thing so people could share.
It's too bad we couldn't think of it. We can't think about some kind of a neat competition between lawnmowers, like a lawnmower pool or something. I can't wrap my head around what would be good. Anyway,
Yeah, I guess.
so could you?
Gas lawnmower or something?
What's that?
Like, Richard, are you suggesting like there'd be some sort of comparison between like an electric lawnmower versus a gas lawnmower and see which one?
I don't like that idea. For one, it's going to be loud, and we don't want to have a lot of noise there and pollution. This is kind of
Sally, you're too green. We want to make smoke.
oh,
Yeah, you're right.
it's a green event.
We could have a gasoline lawnmower bash.
I think I don't want to do that kind of thing. I just want to present
No
the
violence.
electric things. I don't want to do any bash.
Could we blow one up? So it sounds like you're saying that maybe we ought to concentrate on the festivities after the parade.
Yeah, it's really, really hard to tell what we should do, honestly. It's what we want to do. We should think about what we would like to do, what would be fun to do, what would be, I think the people are milling around either at that like 9 to 10, 10:30 to 9 to 11, they're milling around, I think. And then they're gone for a while, and then they come back and they're milling around again.
Is there food, like a lunchtime thing,
Yep.
food trucks or
Yep.
something?
Yeah, there's food. And I'll have to find out exactly what they're doing this year because it was a little trimmed down last year because of COVID, and I'm not sure this year. So I'll learn more. But what we would want to think about is, I think, well, let's see.
We've got
I mean,
3 weeks.
What's that? Yeah, we
We've
have
got
2
about
weeks.
3 weeks, yeah.
So let's try to make it something really easy, but that is open to people. So maybe we have a specific time that we'll be there. And if people want to bring their mower or their trimmer or their electric saw or something down, we'll have a spot where people can have their things and people can come by and look at them. And that could be like 9:30 or to 11. You know, they can come anytime in there. Or it could be on the other end, the food end. I think probably, what is that day? Is it a Saturday or a Sunday? The 14th.
So I think it's a Saturday.
Okay. Yep. So actually people are going to the dump early on. Maybe it's a little after that.
Yeah.
Do you have a sense of when you'd want to do it if you were a part of it? Is the morning end better than the midday-ish or lunchtime?
I feel like if there's food, people are going to be very preoccupied with that. So,
Right.
and I am actually out of town that weekend, but I do have an electric weed whacker that if somebody wants to come, if I can give it to somebody that you can put it out and have it on display. It works really well. I mean, and I got like 2 acres, so it's
What kind is it?
It's the light green one. I want to say it's Ryobi. I'm not sure totally.
I've got one of those too, so I don't think we'll need it.
All right. Well, we don't need to double down, but yeah, I have. Trying to think if I have anything else.
You triggered
Electric.
something, Sally. I was just up at a friend's house this morning up in South Starksboro, and he showed me his DeWalt circular saw, battery-powered circular saw, and drill kit, which he said is absolutely fantastic. It's the 20 volt, and I'm sure Jake would either loan them to me or come down and would maybe cut some wood. Let people try it out.
Yep.
So maybe we ought to think about power tools as well.
Yeah. That sounds good.
Okay, so
Okay, that sounds great. And I think we're gonna look. I'll go over to the place and see about the space and maybe back, not too close to where too many people are, so that if it's somewhat noisy, they're off to the side a little bit, but where they can really see that, oh yeah, if we want to check this stuff out, it's all right there.
so where is it actually? It's not in the park?
It's not in the green here. It's over at the rec department
Okay.
area.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
right by the skate park.
Mhm.
Yeah, in that area.
Yeah.
There's a gazebo. I mean, the pavilion, there has been music in the past, but I don't know if this year there's going to be a band and food and stuff at lunch. Anyway, I think we can go forward, and we'll work out the details with Meredith as far as timing and stuff goes.
Yeah, an email on Front Porch Forum and.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. I feel like I'll go ahead and do that, and then get back to you. I mean, once I talk to Meredith about specifics. All right. So spring, yeah. Drive Electric, that's you, Richard. You want to tell us about your meeting and what you learned at Drive Electric?
Yeah,
That's
Drive
right.
Electric was basically kind of a walkthrough through the materials that are available at Efficiency Vermont, orienting people to the fact that there is extensive information about electric and plug-in and hybrid electric vehicles, rebates, performance, stuff like that. But it wasn't, for anybody who's been interested in the vehicles, it wasn't all that illuminating. But Gail watched it with me, and she said it was kind of nice to be able to go page by page and have somebody kind of comment a little bit. So I think it was helpful to somebody who has not been as tuned in as, say, I am about this stuff. And we are in all probability going to probably switch our standard Prius for maybe for a plug-in. But anything, if you want to know about the cars, the details are there for every model that's available. So it was helpful in I suppose in that regard. And we may want to see if we can put the presentation link it on Front Porch Forum so people can get it on their own.
So I could, either you or I could get that.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and I'll
You
see
can-
if I can do that.
That's great.
Okay.
Oh, hi, Patrick.
You guys hear me?
Now I can hear you. Yeah.
Oh,
Yep.
I think I have to head out. So
Okay.
I'll be in touch about the next steps with Norwich and what, whatever.
That sounds great, Patrick.
Yeah,
We'll keep you in the loop.
sounds good. Nice to
Thanks,
see
Patrick.
everybody.
Thank you for coming, Patrick.
Bye.
So Richard, you've got also some legislative stuff?
Yeah,
Essentially?
just maybe an update. As many of you may know, the legislature is trying to head for a May 6th adjournment, and so things are moving very quickly. There are several bills that I just want to mention, and also tell you that this legislative session, in terms of the Global Warming Solutions Act and the Climate Council, has been dedicated to a couple of issues, particularly. The big one is the clean heat standard bill, which is H715. And I'll talk about that in a minute. The transportation issue is going to be largely handled this year through the yearly, what they call the T-bill, which comes from the governor. The administration puts out a transportation bill that, is for roads and highways and bridges and public transportation and all kinds of things. And the legislature drafted their Transportation Innovation Act, H552, just as a kind of a sample bill of what they would like to see in the T-bill. And they've been negotiating a good bit on that, and have, I think the word is that people are pretty satisfied with the interaction on that one between administration and the legislature. They've come very close in agreeing on how much money should be allocated to, let's say, green transportation. There are always things left out, but there's certainly going to be incentives for electric vehicle chargers, also continue the incentives for electric vehicle purchases, some money for the walkable, I guess what I would call the walkable cities and towns, and that kind of thing. But the legislature itself is going to be pushing very hard next year legislatively to increase the presence of electric buses, for example. The fare-free transit, I think, is going to survive for another year in this bill, which is really nice. And there are some pilot projects going on about different kinds of transit. For example, in Montpelier, they're on a real push to eliminate parking downtown by having state workers either park on the outskirts or use almost a call for your ride kind of thing if they live within a certain radius, rather than having a bus going around on a regular route. You actually make an appointment, and these jitneys come around and pick you up, and it'll be interesting to see how that works as a model for the state. So that kind of thing is going on right now. Back to the bills, one that's very central is the S-148 Environmental Justice Bill that has passed out of the Senate committee, and I believe out of the moved over to the House, and it sounds like that one is going to pass. And it also sounds like it not only has a veto-proof majority, but that the governor is probably likely to sign it. And that's the bill that is calling for environmental justice to be central to virtually everything that the state does. That it becomes part of legislation, part of policy. And so I think that's going to be a really good thing. For our, some of the things that we're involved in, a bill called Municipal Fuel Switching, H518, is progressing. And this bill is going to be designed to enable municipalities to weatherize and potentially to switch out of fossil fuel heating systems. So our library project could be funded in part or in total, if the town decides, by the municipal fuel switching bill. And as I understand it, the way that's going to work is every town will be given $200,000 and they decide how to spend it. We'll see if that all survives, but that looks like what's going to happen. Let's see. There are other bills that are kind of being pushed back right now. The renewable energy standard, I think, and the weatherization at scale are probably going to be put off till next year. But there will be very strong weatherization funding available through the regular budget process. The governor is very concerned about that. We're also hoping that there's going to be money for the construction of low and moderate income homes to address the fact that, when we try to bring people in here to fill jobs, they can't find a place to live that they can afford. So that's seen as something that's very, very important. So just very quickly getting back to the let's see, the H715, the clean heat standard. There are a number of us that are very disappointed in the bill and are considering whether or not to support it. It's going to be depending very heavily on the use of biofuels to replace heating oil and propane. And biofuels are incredibly problematic in terms of their environmental impact around the world. And also now that we are reaching a world food crisis, in part because of the Ukrainian situation. Ukraine is the breadbasket for a whole lot of countries. And now, there's not going to be a lot of farming. So that and rainforest destruction makes biofuels a very problematic choice for the bill to depend on. So I think there are a number of us. If you want to get a good read on it, go to 350 Vermont, and you'll see in detail what some of the concerns are. There have been changes to the bill based on really heroic efforts by a number of organizations to get testimony. Originally, testimony in front of the Committee on Natural Resources and Energy was 90% or more industry people and administration. We got that percentage much more balanced in the last 2 weeks with real technical expertise on these issues and what the bill is really heading toward. So if you want more information on that, there was an Addy Independence article 3 weeks ago by Christopher Ross that had it was a huge article. It really went into it in detail. but that's probably the most controversial bill right now. And I think for a variety of reasons, it may not survive, which may not be a bad thing. And that's probably it for now.
That's really great. Thanks, Richard, for such a clear summary of those bills and what's going on.
It's important stuff.
Yeah, it sure is. Yeah. I've gone to some meetings and listened to stuff, but I never could have put it together like you just did. So
I've been kind of living it, and I've been on an email thread with about a dozen people who are analyzing it and
great.
Analyzing all of it.
Yeah. Any questions or comments from anyone right now before we go to the last one?
I just real quick, that municipal fuel switching program sounds extremely interesting. And I think it's like while you're talking, I just did a quick search. It's H518, I think it is.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's 50 grand per town for audits and 200 for approved projects to replace fossil fuel heating systems.
Yeah, some of us were really pushing for the audits as a first step.
Yeah.
And I'm really glad that's in.
Yeah. So I'm kind of inspired enough to just make a few phone calls, leave a few voicemails to our representative. I mean, it's not gonna, what's it gonna do? But it
does
something.
It does. It does. They say if they get 10 phone calls on an issue, it really turns their head around.
Yeah.
That's great.
So it's just kind of, it's inspiring to hear about that. And like, I would have never known that this was, even potentially on the, an idea, and the fact that it's coinciding with what we're doing right now with the library. Like it all overlaps and comes together. So it's
actually what precipitated the library was Joey Miller from BNRC, who's also a Climate Council member, was getting ready to testify regarding 518. And she put out a kind of a call to some of us. And that's when I went to the library and took a picture of Coco in her coat that Joey could use when she made did her testimony. And I had said to Joey at the time, I said, it's fantastic. The towns need it, particularly the small towns with our old buildings. But I said, in my mind, it's got to start with audits. And, other people were saying that too. So that's how the library thing kind of got started.
The ball rolling. Yeah.
I'm glad you brought that up, Richard, because an actual audit hasn't been done at the library, but plenty of exploration has been done and contractors. But if an audit is needed, like I don't think it's needed for the ARPA things because it just goes to the towns and towns decide. I don't know what will happen with this money, if it'll just go to the town and they decide, or you have to apply through the state to get the money. And then maybe they have more strict things. I don't know. We'll find out.
Yeah, I think my preference would have been to get both the library and the town hall an honest to goodness energy audit first, which I've had done to my house, and they come up with a comprehensive list with payout figures and BTU per cubic foot and all that kind of stuff that you can then really use to get a grant.
Yeah.
But I think it's going to work. I think with Matt coming in and getting the board involved one way or the other, we'll get that done.
Yeah. I mean, I think that Matt has the expertise and he
Mhm.
just felt like he could do it for the town for free
Yeah.
because he's willing to volunteer to do
Did he do a
do it.
blower door on it?
Oh, yeah, he
Yeah,
did.
okay.
Yep.
Yeah, well,
He got a lot of that. He got all the infrared stuff, the blower door.
good.
Yeah. So, all right, well, great. Plenty of stuff for us to work on in the next few years around this stuff.
Let's
The
see.
final, if there are no other things about this, is there anything else about this one? Okay. The last thing I wanted to say is just that as far as all these different ideas that we have and things we're doing in our lives, and I think we should still feel free to personally send something out on Front Porch Forum, not necessarily from the Bristol Energy Committee if we haven't all agreed on it, but feel free to put out inspirational things if you happen to do something in your life and have found it help save money, or that kind of thing. Feel free to say, hey, I've been weed whacking with an electric weed whacker and it's working great and it's so quiet and it's and it's whatever. Any of that kind of stuff helps people, because a lot of this is new stuff for people, whether it's a weatherizing thing or it's electric something or heat pumps. Everything's new, and unless people hear that other people are doing it and enjoying it, it's harder for them to go for it, and harder to know. So anything you can think of that feels like inspiring, even whatever, hanging the laundry on the line. Save a lot of money, not use a dryer, stuff like that.
Sally, do you want to talk at all about changing our meeting night?
Oh yeah, right. So, originally the select board told us when our night was. They said it'll be Wednesday nights. And so I think we'd have to talk to them about that if we wanted to change it. And I know that there's a planning commission meeting on Tuesdays, but once a month, I think. We just have to make sure it wasn't the same time. So I guess we could talk to them about that if it's, because it does seem like a lot of things happen on Wednesday nights.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm always having conflicts.
Yeah.
Wednesday
Especially
and
a lot of
Thursday.
energy related things, so we can't really go to the meetings. Yeah.
Right. Just wonder what, Ben, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think I just pulled up I'm on the Bristol website. I just pulled up the calendar, just like the general calendar, to see if there was a better day. But yeah, I mean, for me, I mean, just speaking personally, I like the time. I like it a little bit later in the evening. I think 7 is good.
Me too.
I think that's nice. But in terms of a day of the week, I mean, yeah, Wednesday seems like it's popular for other things. I know Monday's when the select board meets, so you kind of want to maybe not run into that if but
Seems like it'd have to be Tuesday or Thursday, maybe.
I would think so. Yeah. I think Tuesday. Well, yesterday. It was yesterday, Tuesday. That was when the library met. Was Tuesday, right?
Yeah, and that's just a once a month. So.
Oh, that's once a month. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we wouldn't be probably crossing purposes with them.
True.
I wonder about every third Tuesday. If we could try that.
Yeah, I think planning might be the second Tuesday. What do you think, Jim? You might know when that planning commission is. Is the planning commission meeting?
I know select board is Mondays. Tuesdays is usually I think it's the downtown review.
Okay.
They're all staggered, but you may be able to do it like, say, the second Tuesday or the fourth Tuesday, where the other ones are in between. If you check with Valerie, she has a schedule of all of them, and she can tell you when all the meetings are. So that might be something you want to check on.
Yeah.
Okay, that's great.
Hey, Jim, you're listening in on, on our meetings. I just wonder, what's your impression of what we're doing?
Well, let's see.
I mean, be honest.
Some of your stuff is good. This electrification of equipment where I live, there's no way I could ever use an electric powered garden tractor. Just too big an area and take too much time.
Sure.
Uh,
Well, at least not now.
Yeah, well, I don't think it's in the foreseeable future either. But let's get to electric cars. I know you guys love them. Nobody has even thought about who can afford them. I can't afford them. What am I going to? What am I supposed to do if they ban all fossil fuels? The other thing is, in my opinion, fossil fuels. Everything we have today is made somehow through fossil fuels. So if we get rid of all that stuff, let's be realistic about this. If people want to have electric vehicles and all that, that's great. Heat pumps, great idea until it hits 15 degrees, then you freeze. I could go on with a lot of. I don't believe in the environmental problem that everybody thinks we have. I don't believe in that. I'm for a lot of the things you guys are thinking about, especially like in the village. It's good to cut down on pollution and use electric equipment. It's a good idea. I like the way you're educating people on this subject. The weatherization thing is good. There's so many things you could discuss on this. It's pros and cons on everything. I just don't know what your original purpose was in forming the Energy Committee. I originally thought it was ways to save energy for the community, as far as the town buildings and all, and assist people in ways to save energy. But it seems that you've gone so far to this anti-fossil fuel thing, and it's just not a practical thing. It's not going to work. Everything we need fossil fuels. I mean, I heat with propane. I tried wood. I have an asthmatic condition. I can't burn wood. If they would say to get rid of, you can't have any propane or gas. Ridiculous. Natural gas is not a pollutant. It's an excellent way to heat your home. Propane isn't bad either. It's a little expensive, but it's not bad. I can see on you not using fuel oil. That's a pollutant. Nobody seems to go after the diesel powered trucks and buses, which they spew out all sorts of garbage. I don't have enough time to do all this.
Once we can get together, it'd be really fun to sit down with a beer or something,
Scotch.
or coffee, scotch. I wish we had a good bar in Bristol.
Yeah, we don't even have that. I know.
No, but maybe somewhere.
Hey, I got another thing for you.
What's
They
that?
just passed this legalization of marijuana nonsense. Got to remember, I was a cop for 25 years, and that's what I did, narcotics investigation. Marijuana is no good for you. Okay, that aside, what about all the pollutants that are going to go into the air with that nonsense? Okay, we're gonna have these people walking around stoned. It's very offensive to me, the odor of it. So that's polluting the environment too, isn't it?
It's not quite in our wheelhouse, but just so you know, I agree with you. I voted against it.
You want to see some of the nasty emails I got on it because I was against it.
Yeah, I bet.
Oh,
But
and I don't tell people what I did for a living on the whole, but people come say I have no idea, no knowledge of it. Oh yeah, right, okay. But that's just another one of those things. Pollution, right?
Well, I'll bet we could have a really good time.
Okay.
That'd be fun. Thanks.
Okay.
Yeah,
guys.
thank you so much for sharing your thoughts. It must drive you nuts not to be able to say that stuff on these meetings, but
Well,
I'm
say
glad,
it.
glad
I
you
don't have to.
shared.
I don't have to prove anything to anybody, so I don't. It doesn't bother me.
All right. Great.
No, but it's good to know. It's good to know what kind of a job we have to do.
Right.
'Cause we have to sway your opinion on a few of
Oh,
these
that's not going to happen. The library project, I think that's a great idea. That's a good thing you're doing on that one, because that building needs, a lot of the town buildings need something.
Yep.
But it's good that people like you are doing that kind of thing. So
Yeah.
it's good.
Well, no matter what, we can be cordial, and whether we agree or not,
Oh, yeah, I don't bite.
we're all in it together.
True. That's true. Okay, guys.
Okay.
Well,
By the
thanks.
way, I respect the work you did as a police officer too.
Yeah.
So just know
You have
that.
no idea what I tell people, 25 of my years is 100 of yours.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
believe it. I can't imagine being in that line of work. That is
I've been retired 32 years,
serious.
and I still wake up 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning thinking of things that happen.
Really.
Yeah,
Wow. Wow.
yeah.
Yeah.
What are you going to do? That's part of the job.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for being here and conversing.